Hi, hello there, my name is Kayla and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. Grab your forks, grab your knives, because today's video is going to be a roast. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about palettes that I find absolutely horrendous, ugly. Why were they released? Who thought these were a good idea? And just my thoughts and opinions on different eyeshadow palettes that I find unattractive. A few disclaimers: I am not the first person to come up with this video idea. 90s LoveChild, Smokey Glow Hannah, and Theresa is Dead. They've all done videos similar, just like this. And I'll have all of their channels linked in the description box down below, just in case you like this video and want to see more content like this. Another disclaimer: if you have these palettes, if you love these palettes, if you think they're the most precious, prettiest things in the world, please don't get offended by what I say. We are all different. We all have different wants, different needs. We all find different things attractive. This is just how I think and how I feel. So please don't come at me. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the roast. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and scooch over here so I can insert my photographs right here. Whenever I was researching for this video, I found some old ones that I was very confused about whenever they first released years ago, and I'm still confused about today. The first one is going to be this Urban Decay Kristen Leanne eyeshadow palette. I think this released in like 2017 or 2018, and I distinctly remember when it came out, I was so confused. Like, who thought it was a good idea to just put circles, squares, rectangles all over the place? There's so much unused packaging. Why did they think this was a good idea? The color story makes absolutely no sense. You have what? I think there's only two matte shades in here, and it's the black and the orange. You have a shade in here named Corona. I'm not even making this up. The shade name is Corona. That did not age well. This eyeshadow palette I always have found horrendous. I never purchased it when it came out. It got so much hype. I remember there were so many YouTubers hyping this palette up, and I was just like, am I missing something? Why do I find this unattractive and everybody else likes it? I don't know. I can't find the appeal in it. It is just, there's no theme to it. It's a confused mess. I can't see like any looks I would create with this, and I'm happy I never purchased it. Circles and rectangles, like, why? I have nothing against Kristen Leanne. I think I've only seen like 2 or 3 of her videos. Don't come at me. So this is nothing against her or anything like that. This is strictly against the palette. I hate it. It's ugly. It's a confused mess. And here's the thing. Kristen Leanne also came out with another palette with Urban Decay, the Daydream one, which is a bit better. I mean, the browns look kind of muted. However, it's way less confusing than this colorful mess. Like, this palette looks like you took a whole bunch of eyeshadows from random palettes, put it in a Z palette, and there you go. You have this Urban Decay Kristen Leanne one. I don't know if the formula on it was good or anything like that, but this was just too much of a mess for me to even purchase, so I'm roasting it. Next up, these are 4 eyeshadow palettes that were actually released this year, and it's not necessarily that they're ugly. However, what I have a problem with is just Ulta was given a theme they could grab onto and just run with, and they chose to do this. This is the Ulta Harry Potter collection. They came up with 9-pan eyeshadow palettes for each of the houses, and these are just so lackluster. None of these inspire me. I don't want any of them. You were given Harry Potter. You couldn't have just added something like a bit interesting to this? These are so bland. The Slytherin house, you don't even have a true green in there. You have like a off greens and like a pukey green. Hufflepuff, there's not even like a nice bright yellow. You have this like muted mustard, and it's just all so lackluster to me. They could have done such a better job with it, and they gave us this. Also, these were released like right at the time where all of the J.K. Rowling stuff was being exposed and the information that she was a terrible human being was being exposed. So I don't think these did too well at Ulta anyways, aside from the atrocious color stories. But I thought they were roast worthy. That's why they're included in here. Okay, so next up we have this palette from Too Faced, and I am not the first person to roast this palette, that is for sure. This is the Too Faced White Chocolate Bar palette. Look at it. It all looks like ash. I don't think these colors would appear on anybody, not even me. And I am pasty white, low sodium chicken. That is my complexion. And I don't even think these would appear on me. They're all ash. It looks like they would all just blend in together and make a big putty mess. I don't think this eyeshadow palette did too well. Honestly, I haven't heard anybody talk about it or use it in the recent years. Who thought this was a good idea? Too Faced has come out with some really incredible palettes. Their peach palette, the original chocolate bar palette, and then they gave us this. They literally gave us nothing. Even the packaging, it's just a white chocolate bar. You couldn't have taken it a little bit further, done something a little bit more interesting, maybe added some sparkles in here, like maybe like a nice like disco white sort of shimmery shade. I don't know. There's not even like a chocolate brown in this, and it's white chocolate. Why? This palette confuses me, I think, even more than the Kristen Leanne Urban Decay one, because it's almost offensive. Am I right? Ooh, okay, next up, this is an eyeshadow palette that was sold out for a pretty long time at almost every Ulta that I went to check. I believe this was released in 2017, 2018. This is the Dose of Colors Hidden Treasure palette. Again, why would you put the shades all over the place, tilted, and there's so much packaging that's not being used. It's empty space. The shades in here, I mean, they're pretty, however, they're just nothing revolutionary. But this palette was so coveted by so many people. It was never in stock. Looking back at it now, it's like, what was everybody so hyped up about this palette for? Because of the edgy looking shades all over the place? I have no clue. This is just a mess. I don't like it. I don't understand what were they thinking. And Dose of Colors has come out with some really good palettes after this. I believe they have those like monochromatic palettes that are just regular circle pans and a long like rectangular looking packaging. This I think was their first ever palette that they released, and I guess they took the hint that maybe not a whole lot of people liked the weird array of eyeshadows. So I think after this palette they changed it to just the circle regular rectangle packaging without all this unused space. I think they learned after this one. However, it was still sold out for a long period of time. But the Hidden Treasure palette, I will still not understand why so many people loved it so much. This is the Jeffree Star Alien palette. I understand the concept of it. You have like a neon green in there, a teal, and a purple. Those are the only like real colors in this palette though. Everything else in here just looks like ash. I don't like the packaging on it. There's so much unused space. This was never appealing to me. Like, how many looks can you really create with this palette? 2? Maybe 3, and I don't think these shades are gonna appear on everybody's skin tone. And this is not the only Jeffree Star palette that I find unattractive. The other one that I could never really understand why so many people liked it, but I guess it's because it was Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. This is the Jeffree Star Conspiracy palette. This looks like a mess to me. It doesn't look like as much of a mess as the Alien one. However, you have a bright yellow, an orange, a red, a blue. What can you do with this palette? I don't understand. I don't own any Jeffree Star eyeshadow palettes, so I can't really attest to the formula to say if it's good or not, and I'll more than likely never purchase any Jeffree Star eyeshadow palettes. I did at one point have 2 of his liquid lipsticks. I think I had the shade Androgyny and the shade Celebrity Skin, and I also had one of his velour lip scrubs back in 2016. I believe it was 2016 at the Vans Warped Tour. He was there doing meet and greets with people, and he had his whole cosmetics line like set up, counter tent thing, and I went there and I grabbed a ticket to meet Jeffree Star, and I did not. The line was just way too long. However, I did see him in person and purchase a liquid lipstick. But yeah, I've seen Jeffree Star in person once. I don't think I'm ever going to buy anything from his brand ever again, and the only things I did purchase from him were in 2016. I believe I placed an order on his website in 2017, but after that, But this Conspiracy palette and this Alien palette were, in my opinion, the worst looking ones he ever came out with. The color stories are just atrocious. I don't understand them. Maybe I'm just not that creative. I don't know. Alright, so before I start roasting this palette, I just want to say I do like food themed eyeshadow palettes. I think they can be done very well. The ice cream ones from Glamlite are super cute. The I Heart Revolution donut ones are adorable. However, when it comes to savory food like pizza and hamburger, it crosses a line with me. This is the Glamlite Hamburger eyeshadow palette, and there is just something about this that turns my stomach in the wrong direction. Your eyeshadows are literally on a slice of cheese, and the background is ground beef. Why? This is so gross. I don't find any appeal in this, and this palette looks huge. Like the pictures of it look big. It looks like it's a big monstrosity of a palette. I can't imagine storing this and then just whipping out my hamburger and putting the shade spinach on my crease or pickles on my outer corner. There's just something about this that feels so wrong to me. However, Makeup Revolution did a hamburger palette, and that one is really cute. That one's not on a slice of cheese. That one doesn't have ground beef all around and up in it, and the color story in this one is really cute. But this Glamlite one, something about it just grosses me out, freaks me out, and I don't think I'll ever be purchasing that one. Like, I won't. I haven't tried out any Glamlite eyeshadow palettes yet. However, I do want to try out their formula. They have a really cute ice cream palette, but this hamburger one is just not for me. I don't really like the pizza one either. However, the hamburger one is just far worse than that pizza one. Yeah, let me know if you've tried out Glamlite eyeshadows and if you enjoy them, because I'm really considering trying out their ice cream one, but the hamburger one is gonna be a no. Next up, and this is one that I'm really sad I have to put in here, because Urban Decay could have taken this palette to the next level and then gave us this. This is the Urban Decay 1993 eyeshadow palette, and this is just pretty disappointing to me. I haven't seen it in person, but from what I see online, it is just bland. They could have taken this to a whole other level. You have like a muted brown, a muted blue, and I understand that like 90s grunge is kind of muted. However, this is just like kind of too pastel for 90s grunge, which based on the packaging, that's the direction they were trying to go with, is 90s grunge. However, the only shade in this palette that says grunge to me is this like shimmery green shade, which is actually labeled grunge now that I'm looking at it. But that's the only shade in here that looks like 90s grunge rock and roll to me. I know Give Me Glow did a 90s alternative rock theme palette. I think that was a grunge palette. I forgot the exact name of it. However, that palette is a grunge palette, and I feel like Urban Decay just missed the mark with this. I love 90s grunge music. Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, whole. No, I don't like whole 9-inch nails, for Christ's sake, if you would put them in the grunge category. However, I feel like Urban Decay totally missed the mark with this. I feel like it just could have been better, and for that reason I'm roasting it. Alright you guys, so that is it for today's video. If you liked this video, be sure and hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments down below if there are any eyeshadow palettes that you find absolutely hideous. If there are any of these palettes that you agree with me or that you disagree with me on, let me know in the comments. Everything that I have on my face will be listed in the description box down below, as well as all of my social medias. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye.